Order the Board of Works Public Safety meeting for March 19th, 2019 to order. First, we have the reading and approving the minutes. Do I have a motion to dismiss the reading and approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have payment of the claims. We've got a correction on the total amount. It's $128,850.49. And there was one check that was put in with an extra one in front of it, so it's the $1,000 difference. They fixed it, and we are paying the right amounts.
Yes.
Right. Anything in particular you wanted to talk about as far as the payments?
No.
Nope, she explained all the changes.
Is there any questions from the board?
Nothing. Go.
Any questions, comment from the public? Do I have a motion to accept payment of the claims?
There was a hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I
I
miss
have a
something?
question
Yeah,
for later,
Stacy.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I have a question for later, I'm sorry, it's not about this.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll make sure to,
Grab me later?
Yeah.
You know what it's about.
okay. Sort of a motion to accept payment of the claims?
So moved.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and under blight claims, we have no blight claims this time. City attorney report, is there anything you'd like to report, Mr. Kern?
I will when we get to the sidewalk program.
Okay. Next, we have the announcement for the community crossings paving contract. That's about $1 million worth of paving that we have scheduled for the city. Includes Parkview Heights, part of 7th Street, part of 10th, Erie, over there by the new Casey's on the west end. And that's the most of it. The totals, Gaunt and Son was cheaper by $150,000. Dave Thorpe and I looked through the bids. They were all similar, except for prices were just obviously different on different roads, with E&B in general being a little bit more expensive on just about all the items except for the milling, which they both subcontract out, so that's why those were the same. Any questions or comments from the board on the bids?
They're the same.
Yep, most of it is all just the same paperwork, and then I know I emailed you guys the sheets that had all the numbers on them, but long and short of it is $150,000 cheaper with Gaunt and Son. Any questions from the public? Do I have a motion to accept Gaunt and Son's bid for the community crossings grant paving?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. So next, we have, I see Debbie's coming in now, so she's just in time for a discussion on the request that we had at the March 5th meeting for a road closure for a fundraiser. So I know you just came in, Debbie, but I hate to call you out. Would you like to stand up and kind of tell us some of your concerns for the board, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Do I need to come up there, or?
Yeah, probably, so everybody can hear you, if that's okay.
I think that their fundraiser is a wonderful thing. However, it does cause an issue with the businesses that they're blocking during the time. Saturday's a busy day for 6th Street Coffee Company and the beauty shop next door and Gabriel's.
Mhm.
And it's just having that blocked off at 10 o'clock in the morning is a concern.
Yeah, I was able to call Gabriel's, and I asked the manager about it after I spoke with you. The manager said he wanted to talk to the owner and get back with me, because he felt that the owner did want to speak with me about it, but I wasn't able to get a hold of him before the meeting, so I can't really say what his thoughts on it were. But we did reach out to him.
I spoke with Teresa, Craig spoke with Teresa as well.
Mhm.
It's just year, they set up their tables right up against our building for the vending, and people were hanging out in front of the door and everything, and it just made it look like nobody was open.
Gotcha.
And then blocking off even though it's only a third of a block that they block off initially, they're in essence blocking off more than half a block because people can't park on the south side of the street there either unless they come in from the east, go into the parking lot and back up all the way down to the parking places that are available.
Okay.
Just wanted to express concern about that because, and we're only open till 1 o'clock. Teresa's open till 1 o'clock as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't have a problem with it after that.
Gotcha.
Paul
Okay.
got something here.
Yep.
I'm the one to put that on, and I apologize for the traffic in your area. But I did talk to the coffee shop owner today, I can't remember his name, Craig. I introduced myself to him, and I don't think I've ever been treated so bad in my life. Awful. But I was able to calm him down, and I agreed that I would not start till after they close.
Okay.
Your name, sir?
Paul,
Last name?
that's in B-U-T-Z.
Thank you, Debbie. If you want to, you can sit down or.
Yeah, I'm willing to work out. I'm willing to work with the business. I want them to prosper. I'm not trying to hurt their business. I want them to make business off of it. Gabriel's owner came out and thanked me last year because he made business.
That's not what he was.
Did he not?
saying.
Well, just the amount of people that was in the parking lot that was going in and out, they had to have made money.
They had to.
I mean,
It might have
and,
been the manager and not the owner, but they did come out last year and say thank you because we have an increased business today. We didn't hamper Gabriel's in any way. We were not on their
And they-
parking lot. We did not block anything.
They even agreed as long as I just block it off up to that entrance. They have to complain. I understand their complaint completely, and I won't start until after they're closed. I'm going to talk to Gabriel's.
It is Teresa and the other businesses, do they have the same hours on Saturday there?
Teresa said that she closes at 1 on Saturday too.
Okay.
Right.
Chris, the tattoo shop doesn't open until after.
Yeah, he's all
Anyway,
about
so
it though.
He's good with it anyway because.
He's gonna make money.
Yeah.
what do they do on Circus City days when it's blocked down 24 hours a day for a week? I mean, isn't that the same scenario? I mean, Circus City days, that whole road's gonna be blocked off, correct? No parking at all? Up until I think the Gabriel's entrance, I think.
Um,
I mean, so it's gonna be the same thing that they were blocking off. Now it'll be like that for a week, 24 hours a day.
Not during the day. I mean, people can still get down to our end.
Well, I mean, I think that the appointment, though, I think we can all come to something that work for everybody.
Right.
And I think it's great what you're doing, don't get me wrong, I've
No, I
been involved
understand.
in a lot
I
of
understand.
fundraising events, but.
The coffee shop guy said he'd even come out and listen to bands and everything
Oh,
afterwards. So it's just, if I could set up at 1 o'clock, I'm not gonna lose much
Mhm.
in the
Okay.
whole thing. I'm still gonna make about the same amount as I did last year I could.
Yeah.
So if I could set up at 1 and we actually get started like 2:30, 3, if it's okay with Gabriel's.
Mhm.
Everything, I mean, it's only like a half hour that's gonna be blocked off.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like that would be a solution for everyone.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine, just as long as people can, I mean, we have people all the time say, we were gonna stop, but there's no place to park out here.
Mhm.
So, and then when you compound that by having an event with
I
the
get
street
that.
at Broadway
I get
blocked
that.
off, it's just.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep. Okay.
So what time do we have to block the road off though, to be able to, in order to get stuff started?
I wasn't even gonna start setting things up until 1 o'clock, till they close.
So the road will stay open until then?
Until
Yeah,
1
but
o'clock.
then I'll just block it off to the entrance at Gabriel's until 3 when they close.
And then move it on down like you did last time?
Because I can get everything set up in about an hour and a half tops. So even by the time I'm set up, Gabriel's gonna be closed within a half hour.
All right.
And I'll talk to Gabriel's too. And I know you're trying to contact him. So I'm sure we can work something out.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming and speaking with us. Thank you, Paul, for coming.
Which store are you associated with? Okay.
So you guys want to make a motion to amend our original approval to move it back to 1.
Yes. If
Just the
that-
time
is that
frame is
Yeah,
doable?
just the time frame. If that works for everybody, I mean, it's what it sounded like that would work for everybody, so does that?
We tried to have conversation with him. As soon as he gave him his name, he began screaming.
Yeah, but we have a solution, so that's
You
fine.
know, I mean,
Right.
we tried to do everything possible to smooth things over with him, and even offered free advertising, and he couldn't even say thank you.
Being
Right.
here and being willing to compromise was excellent. I appreciate that.
Yeah, when he
Thanks.
calmed down and actually wanted to talk, we actually compromised a little bit. He's
Yeah.
all about it, and that he was gonna come out and watch it. I even offered him to set up outside and make money if he wanted to.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well, we'll just adjust the time then.
Is there anything further? All right, do I have a motion to adjust the time to start the road closure at 1 for said event?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Let's see, now we are to unfinished business. I don't see anything under unfinished business. We'll move on to new business. We have Resolution 5, 2019, resolution for the creation of a sidewalk program. So we had put $35,000 into the Board of Works budget last year for a sidewalk program, and Steve and I have been working for a long time trying to put something together for this. What we have here is a resolution that would outline the basics of the program. Within this resolution, it does say you have to comply with everything within the application. The application that we're working on has the things like the thickness of the sidewalk and some of the details that can be adjusted if need be in it. But this should at least lay out the basic information that the public should know and get out as far as how the program, how we're intending to do it. So, Dustin, you said you had something you were going to mention.
Yeah, I was able to look through the resolution and everything. I was fine with that. Because, yeah, in the application, everything's going to have to be ADA compliant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're going to get any type of reimbursement from us, and,
Yeah,
well, just for the building codes themselves.
right.
So, I mean, yeah, everything will be spelled out in the actual application and the requirements within that to comply with the grant.
Right. You know, we did a listserv. We asked all other cities that do sidewalk programs for examples of their applications, and we got, maybe half dozen to a dozen, maybe, examples from other cities, and they were really basic, very bare bone. Basically, it was like, do you want to do this? Yes, no, name, address. So it's a little bit more fleshed out with what we're doing, so, yeah, not to put down anybody else's program, but I felt like we would put a lot of detail into this one that hopefully will clarify and take care of issues before they pop up.
Absolutely.
To clarify, is it going to be a matching program? Could you explain the program?
Not necessarily a matching, it's done per square foot, but we have a cap for each individual thing that we're doing. So like an average property's between 40 to 50 foot wide, we have a cap of $500. With that came from doing an estimate on what it would cost to have it completely done, was around the $1,200 mark. So we're paying almost half of it to get it done with the city's help of removing the old, which is a huge expense
Right.
that they're saving.
Cities removing the old.
Yeah, the city will
Right.
remove all of the old existing sidewalks, and then you'll have to have a licensed contractor come back in, install under the guidelines that are set in place with the application.
Yeah. So currently, right now, if you want to replace your sidewalk, the street department will come and take out your old sidewalk and haul it away for free. That is still in place, and that is in conjunction with this, where you get, in the resolution, I refer to it as a grant with money, up to $500 for a frontage sidewalk, and up to $1,000 on the side, because the sides are longer than the frontage. So,
It's a great program.
yep.
Hopefully people take advantage of it.
Yep.
On West Second Street, on the first block of West Second, which I have told you guys is really bad. Because see, the thing is I sell on eBay too, to keep my business afloat. I have to walk down that sidewalk at least every other day to the post office. It's a complete hazard for anybody. We have problems getting people back through there just for like functions, like second Saturday, the Christmas thing, and I, at no point, I participate in all that stuff, but to get people to go down that sidewalk is impossible because they cannot, wheelchairs cannot go down it, they cannot push, strollers or anything like that. How can you use this program to get that sidewalk fixed so that, number one, people aren't gonna get hurt anymore on that sidewalk? Because I myself, I've tripped and fell a couple times, scraped my knees, my hands, it's that bad. But how can we get that fixed to, keep people from getting hurt and also to encourage business in our downtown district to where they can actually get to the businesses?
I'll have to come up and fill out an application.
They'd have to come up and fill up an application.
Right.
Is there anything that you can use in here to be able to, because this ordinance clearly lays out that if someone does not fix the sidewalk, that the city can in fact replace it for them and put it as a lien on their building.
Right.
How can I get you to do that? Because this problem has been going on for over 10 years.
Yeah. We have been very reticent to tear out sidewalks and fix them and put basically what it amounts to a lien on people's properties. It's
a harsh move.
It is, and that's why
If you
we've,
walk down that sidewalk, I encourage all of you to please go down and walk down that sidewalk. It's only about a half a block worth of sidewalk, but it's a total hazard.
it would be my opinion that we would want to give them the opportunity to take advantage of a program like this before we go to the step of saying, like, but we're going to preempt the possibility of you going in on a program voluntarily and working with the city. So I would want to give them this chance before going in and saying, well, we're going to tear it out now.
Has this program been offered before?
No.
That was brand new, that's
Nothing
what
like this? Okay.
today's about.
Is there any way that we could send them a letter encouraging them to participate, like from the city, like, you know what I'm saying? Because, I'm sure that lots of people have complained about that sidewalk because I had people falling down all the time about it. And I tell them to go basically complain at City Hall because I can't do anything about it. It's not my sidewalk, it's not my responsibility. But it's like, I guess I could, but,
Well, this is a problem citywide, it's not just next to your building, it's like in front of my house,
I
it's
guarantee
on.
you that sidewalk is worse than the one in front of your house. I don't know where you live at, but I guarantee it's worse. I
Yeah.
guarantee it's the worst sidewalk in Peru.
Well,
I mean
there's-
that.
Well, yeah, and I know, I walked down that sidewalk, there's sidewalks that are grown over with grass, so, it's,
To me, that's better than what we have down there because they've got
Yeah.
pieces of the building falling off into it, into that sidewalk. There's big chunks of rocks and the side of the building's falling down on there, people, and gravel filling it in, and it's a mess. And it's a total hazard.
Which block?
West 2nd Street, it's the very first block of West 2nd Street on the south side of the road. It's right beside of the other side bar.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, I appreciate anything you guys can do, and I know, but it's just that I have to walk down it every other day, and I do. And someday I'm gonna really hurt myself. I'm gonna fall and break a hip or something, and yeah. I wanna be doing my due diligence to warn you ahead of time, I guess.
yeah, and like I said, I think given an opportunity like this that'll help pay for it, that's the best case scenario, partnering with people and,
If you can send them a letter, that would be great, yeah.
yeah, Paul?
With 35,000, is that the yearly budget for this? Is that what we're?
That's what we put in the budget for this year, so that's not necessarily a yearly budget, but that's what we did for this year, so.
Is there going to be a procedure? Is it first come, first served for the application, or do you have a vetting process as far as like what properties need the assistance first?
It's going to be a first come, first served basis,
And if we run out of money, we can address it later.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And hopefully we do. Hopefully people take advantage of it where we deplete all of that next year. We need to try to add more to the budget to continue to encourage
Right.
business owners, building owners, property owners to fix them.
It'd be
I think it's a
70,
problem to have.
I mean, yes,
70 sidewalks it could be,
yeah,
if,
Right.
if it's at the max, yeah.
70.
70.
Yeah, that's a lot of sidewalks. A lot of concrete put down.
Yeah.
Can you imagine it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Gina Foreman, but can you imagine if everybody takes advantage of that, how awesome that, would look?
Right.
Be some job creation.
That would be awesome. Please come and complain so we can get this done. But really, seriously, it would be awesome.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No, it sounds like the city's on board with it, we're on board with it, so.
Good thing.
Any, yeah, Mr. Myers?
If you have trees that are in the area between the street and the sidewalk.
Mhm.
And the roots have, through the years, come up through, busted through the sidewalk. Who takes care of the roots? Now, I hear this program.
Well, this
which
program's,
I actually
right.
wasn't really thinking about this program. I was thinking more about getting the roots out of there so I
Right.
could do the job myself.
all the program is very just straightforward. It is if you do the sidewalks and you do all the inspections and you do it to code and you come out and have it inspected, then we give you up to $500 reimbursement. How it, like anything like the roots and stuff like that would be something you have to work out with your contractor. Now, like I said, the city would take out the sidewalk, the old sidewalk, tear it up and haul it away. But as far as making sure that, it's cleared, the base is good.
They're a foot above the ground. The roots come in.
Right, but the thing is, regardless of what the situation is, that's between the homeowner and the contractor to figure out. We're just giving money after the fact. Once it's done to code, it's
So I'd
done.
have to take out the tree in order to be able to put in the sidewalk,
Whatever-
which would give me $500 to do.
Whatever it took between you and your contractor to get it to where it meets code and it's in,
Is that, so
That's
if
on-
the
that's-
tree was in the way and I had to take out the whole.
the city isn't doing anything with trees. The city isn't
I
doing,
understand, but to get to the sidewalk, I'm just trying to clarify. To get to the sidewalk, if I had to do that, I would be responsible for taking out the large tree.
you'd be responsible for 100% of the entire project. 100% of it. After you were 100% finished with the
If
project,
I took out the roots, that would be 3/4 of the tree. So it would be more advantageous to take down the tree, am I correct?
I think I understand what you're saying. I would say yes, because you don't want it to push the sidewalk up. You go and put a brand-new sidewalk in, you don't want it to be pushed up a couple of years later. So it makes sense to take out the tree if you can't take out the root itself. But yeah, if you took out, had the city come in and remove the sidewalk, remove the tree then at that point, or remove roots, put the new sidewalk in, bring us the bill for what you've paid for the actual sidewalk work, then you would be reimbursed up to $500 depending on the square footage and whatnot, so.
But the city would not remove the
Right.
roots. They would
regardless.
remove the concrete.
Nor the tree.
Well,
Or the-
and we wouldn't tell you that you had to get rid of a tree either. I'm not going to tell people that we're not going to do this unless you get rid of your trees. I'm not,
Well, it's
so,
obviously you have to get rid of it. Well,
In your
Steve lives
situation-
near- Steve lives near me. He's been down on that corner there on Jefferson and West Third. The children come up there and walk down that sidewalk to get on the bus right there. And I just wanted, and my wife's disabled, and I just wanted to make the sidewalk better, but there's no way I could afford to cut down that's a 90-foot, 100-foot tree. It's the same tree that you guys cut the branches out of when the beehive was attacking us here a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's that same tree. In fact, I've had several limbs come down. I have 3 dents in my car from the windstorms, dead limbs from that particular tree. It fell down and hit my car. Now, my insurance, I went through my insurance to take care of it, but I still don't, and there's dead limbs still just hanging up there. So it's only a matter of time.
okay.
But
Well, and you are on the agenda to talk about your tree.
but it really kind of fits in with the sidewalk. I apologize.
Well,
Well, I
but
just-
even at that, Alan, even if the city come down and took it out, they're gonna cut it off at ground level and the
And the roots
stump,
are still gonna be there.
that's still yours, yes. Because they're only gonna do the public safety part of it, which is something falling. Once it's down to ground level, they're not gonna grind the stump, remove all the roots. I mean, they'd be there
That old
for,
tree's my business, isn't it?
unfortunately, yes. But being able to get help like last year, they come and topped it out so it wouldn't fall in your house.
When you get a program that gives me money for cutting down trees, I'll be in.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
I mean, the grinding of the stump's not as expensive as removing of the tree.
Well, right.
So if the tree's cut down to the ground level, getting that stump out of there isn't as expensive as doing the whole of the
Yeah,
project.
You're right, it's leveling the roots that are up, seriously, it's leveling them to get the sidewalk level as well.
Right. But if the concrete was out and the tree was down, whoever come and grind your stump, they grind all those roots too. They can grind all that because it's not gonna grow. Once it's down below your concrete level, you can pull right over it. You don't need to take it out 10 feet in the ground.
Right, okay.
And we can revisit this
Right, it is
down
on the agenda.
And I'm good.
Okay, all right. Anything else
about this.
about the sidewalk program? All right, seeing, seeing none, can I have a motion to accept Resolution 5, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have Sharon Breitenbach with a request to close Canal Street from Cass to Holman on May 26, 9 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. for a 5K walk run walk.
Hi. Sorry, my notes are on my phone.
It's all right.
I'm Sharon Breitenbach, and I'm here on behalf of the Back to School Festival. And we are requesting, yes, for Sunday night, the Sunday night of Memorial Day weekend for Light Up the Night 5K. This is our 4th year doing it. And we've, in the past, closed from Cass Street down to Holman on West Canal Street. I think we've just used barricades in the past, and we've placed folks at them to, in case they do need to be moved. So we do have quite a few volunteers in case that's needed. And then also, for the actual Back to School Festival, we close from Miami to Broadway on July 27th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're requesting those 2 closures again this year.
Okay. It's on the agenda as 2 separate items. Do we want to take it as one item, or? Well, yeah, no, you're fine.
And I have on the agenda 10 a.m. till 2 a.m. Should I change that to 11? 10 is fine? Okay, all right.
Sorry.
All right, no problem.
on the agenda, we'll go with.
Thank you, that makes it so much easier for us.
Gotcha. Okay.
These are the exact same closures that you've asked for before, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Police or fire, was there any issues or anything you'd like to see changed? Okay. Any questions or concerns from the board?
Nope.
Mayor, I would approve the 2 separate requests separately instead of the
Okay.
same, since they were made separate, so.
Okay. All right. Anything from the public? Any question or comment on this? All right, well, we will take the first one first. Do I have a motion to accept the request to close Canal Street on May 26th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do I also have a motion to close 7th Street on the 27th? This is the 27th, right?
Of July, correct.
Yes, in July.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you very
you.
much. Thank you for coming. All right, next we will move on to Susan Morse. You have a request to tie ribbons on the lamp poles for the month of April, Child Abuse Awareness Month, the Miami County CAP Council. Thought maybe she was hiding back there. This looks like it's pretty simple, just tying ribbons on lamp posts, or the lamp poles downtown like we've done for other awareness months in the past. Is there any question or any concerns from the board on?
I'm sure they take them down and clean them up when they're done.
Right.
Yep, their plan is to do all the work, so great.
Yep. And it has in the request, and they would remove them and put them up. Is there any question or comment from the public on the Miami County CAP Council's request to tie the ribbons? Any concerns? All right, if there's none, do I have a motion to accept the request from the Miami County CAP Council for ribbons to be tied on the lamp posts?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have Barbara Townsend. You have a request to hold a fundraiser at the intersection of Main and Miami Streets, May 17th, from 9 to 4 for Alzheimer's. Okay. No problem.
We like that.
Thank you.
I heard this really did well. I talked to St. Louis Nicole, and they said they did that, I guess where the firemen do it all every year. And this will be our 5th year doing the Alzheimer's walk. And of course, I work in a nursing home, and I see the devastation of that disease. So we got to find a cure for this. So anyway, because it did so well there, I'm asking if I could do it on that May 17th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, I'm going to be asking like the mayor come out for an hour to join us. I've been hitting up a lot of people like Randy Head.
Okay.
And through the nursing home, that's also National Nursing Home Week for all nursing homes across the United States, so I picked that date because of that also too.
Okay.
But as you can see, Miami County, since I started this in 2015, Miami County has brought in $28,700 since 2015.
That's
And
awesome.
we've been one of the top teams out of 226 teams in the state of Indiana, bringing in the most money. So that says a lot about Miami County.
Yeah,
And
that's
about
great.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yes,
awesome.
thank you.
Awesome.
So this will be kind of in the same vein as like the, you'd be in the street, kind of like what we do for the boot and stuff like that? Okay.
Now, I don't, when they do that, of course, I gave that, do they do it on both sides or just on Main Street? Or do we go on Miami too? Do we have people stay in Miami also, or just on Main Street?
Todd, do
Remember
you?
when we did the protocol? I gave
Yeah.
you a copy of the protocol
Oh,
that
yeah,
showed.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that shows where you can stand and
And
things and where you park the cars.
Todd's worked with different organizations on that too. Todd, do you have some clarification?
Some of them use Miami.
So we can use both if I have enough people?
We'll set you, that is a Friday, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so we'll really, that's gonna be really busy, so
that's why I picked it.
we will have to, we'll make sure that, to keep people off of you, but you're gonna have a lot of traffic.
Okay.
Because it's a nightmare trying to do work down there on Fridays, so you're gonna have a lot,
That's what I wanted.
you're gonna have a lot of traffic, so. But we'll set it up so that they don't get bothered. We'll come down and help.
I have the cones.
Yes. Yeah, that sheet should
Yeah,
kind of
sheet,
give
yeah.
you an
Todd-
idea how far back you're gonna be. We'll mark the road where we want you to park.
Todd, does that protocol allow for both streets though?
I don't know if it does. I can't remember. It's in my computer, but I didn't bring my.
Right. Since that's what we passed,
I
that's
think
what we're
we
gonna
did.
have
I
to
don't
go
think
by.
we put Miami on
I don't
there.
think we put
Okay.
both streets on.
But I just sitting here thinking about it, maybe you ought to just stay on Main.
Miami, excuse me, Main Street,
Main,
okay.
yeah, because
That's fine.
it really gets congested there at the bank on Friday, and it would be kind of tough for somebody to come out of the bank. and go to the
Right.
bank.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I have no problem.
Chief Hawk, I know because the firefighters go down there and have some experience going down there and doing
Usually
that.
just do the Main Street.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do Miami
That's
because
good, that's what I want to know.
Friday will be a busy time. And I think with the new protocol, setting the traffic back, so people can go turn, that's always been a problem. And safety, so.
Steve, is there anything else you'd like to add? Okay. Any questions from the board?
I think, if you have questions about protocol, you can ask us. The police department is also offered, if you have questions or need like a, how to do this primer,
Or any
they've
more
offered to
copies
do
of
that
that
as
sheet
well.
I gave you, if you need more copies for whoever's
I
looking
think
at, let
Todd
me
from
know,
the street
and I can
department's
email
got
them
that
to you
sheet.
or print them
They-
and
they
send
just-
them to you.
I already have
protocol.
my
Right,
case is
right,
gonna
yeah,
come
for the
up with
protocol.
two, so I'm gonna, like,
Right, right,
yeah.
right, okay.
Have the police department help you out.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, if you have any questions, we got answers.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board? So we're doing Main Street. That's a Friday, 9 to 4. And we'll get you the sheet, and we'll have the road. I don't remember or recall, I don't know if you do, Todd, what we provide for that.
Cones and basically just the cones.
The cones.
You guys probably come up with your vest, your yellow vest.
The reflective vest.
Yeah, we like everybody to wear a yellow vest or.
Do they do that, or does the police department help with that at all?
The yellow reflector vest.
I've
I
got
don't-
some.
Dave, didn't you donate some of those at one point in time to use, the reflective vests?
You talking to me?
Mr. Moon?
Oh, Dave Moon.
You didn't? I was thinking somebody in here said they had some extra
I
ones,
thought-
and
I think
I've
it was
got
Chief
some
Meeks.
down there.
I think it was me.
We used to be
I
using.
think since he's
How
not
many
there.
people, you don't know how many
Because I
people are gonna be
remember.
helping.
It's good, excuse me, there'll be off, I don't want to be different people throughout that time period,
Oh,
like an
so as
hour.
long as they're off the street, they can swap the vest out.
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
all up.
And I plan to have some of my residents down there too, but they're gonna be sitting on the side of the sidewalk in the wheelchairs.
Okay, all right.
Watching it, so,
Okay, yeah, I've got vests that they can borrow.
great, thank you.
Yep, okay.
Todd.
Any other discussion? Any other questions, comments? Okay. Seeing none, do I have a motion to accept the request for fundraiser intersection of May and Miami, May 17th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, Alan. Mr. Myers, we have a request for tree removal.
Yeah, no, I get where you stand on that. So there's one other question that I really have on what I said previously, is that the root on the street itself is creating a dam to where the water is not receding down to the corner to the drain. Okay, so it backs up in front of my house, and for Debbie, or for my wife, I built a small sidewalk out to the curb that's flush, you know, with the ground now because of the pavement goes up, you know, which is, again, no big deal, but it pushes that water back there, so we can't get her into the car. I have to drive up on my grass to be able to get out of that water when it rains because of the roots of the tree that's pushing up on the street that's creating a natural dam about 3 inches high. So I'm not letting the water run through. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I get the tree bit, and I get it's our tree, and we gotta get it down to get a new sidewalk in there and all that. But is there anything that you could do possibly to help out so that water will recede down to the drain as it's supposed to on the street?
If that's Mr. Thorpe, are you aware of that situation down there? Is it 3rd Street?
Yeah, corner of 3rd and Jefferson there.
No, I'd have to look at it and see, I don't know.
Do you know if that's anything, just from the description, anything that you guys could
I don't mean, I can take a sledge
do?
to it, but you wouldn't want me to do that.
No.
I just have to go look at it, it sounds like the roots growing
Yeah,
Right.
it's just- That's correct, it's just pushing the asphalt up, maybe 2.5, 3 inches, and creating a dam there so the water doesn't flow down to the corner on Jefferson and West Third and drain.
We'll just have to look at it and see, I'm not sure.
Okay.
That would help out tremendously, and then in time I could, you know, do something about the tree situation.
Well, you have the request for the tree removal, which, do you know which tree we're talking about, Dave?
I believe so, but it's been a long time since I looked at it.
Right, because the street department had cut a limb, or it was the one that had all the bees in it, and,
Yeah.
Half of it's dead on top.
yeah,
On top. Now, there's a couple good branches, you know,
Right.
but the majority of it is kind of just.
It's all eventually gonna die. The branch
Yeah.
that came off was dying, and there's other branches. They're just kind of a quick fix to get the one that, so it didn't fall on
It
something.
has dented my car 3 times, and we were standing out there on one of those breezes, and here comes this piece of wood, hit the top of the car and bounced off while we were standing right beside it. I'm like, oh goodness.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be a pain in the butt either.
oh, no, you're fine.
But the water, it's for Debbie more than it is for me,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
And like we said too, or Steve mentioned, in the street department, if they cut it down, the stump will still be there, because we don't do stump removal, but, I know, when you came in, Alan, didn't you show me some pictures of it?
Yeah, I have some photographs on my phone with me.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a tree that needed to go.
Well, and if the tree comes down and they take it down, it's not a big deal to take and cut what's in the road. But if you cut what's in the road without taking the tree down, you're gonna kill it anyway.
Right.
So if the tree's gonna come down, I think the branch that's kind of going out into the road could probably be
Right.
cut out and cut that part of the root out, patch the road back in so the water can get out of there.
Right.
Not gonna fix the sidewalk issue at this
No.
point, but that's
That would
the next
help.
step.
That would help and create the lake in front of the house, stop
Yeah.
creating it.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of it, and like I said, it looked like it was
Come down,
dying.
Take a look, I can give you my phone number if you want me to show you, somebody can call me prior to, or just take a look at it, write me a letter.
Mhm.
I'm easy, it's whatever you need to do. And if not, just let me know too,
Yeah.
and again, I'll just try something else.
I mean, from the pictures, it looked like something I feel confident the street department would be able to handle. I don't know, I hate to speak for you, Dave, without you going out and looking at it.
I go down tomorrow and look at it.
Okay.
and See, or no matter, I can look at it on the way home.
Right. But
That's all.
I don't see any reason why, because it's a dead tree in the tree lawn, I don't see any reason why it'd be something that we wouldn't be able to take down.
It's a big tree.
Yeah.
we've looked at anything we can do it, you know.
Right.
I think the dangerous part of the branches are already gone, the ones that are leaning towards the house. The rest of it's, there's still another one.
There's a big thick one about 4 inches like that, just laying up there.
No, I'm saying as far as taking the tree down into the road, it's not, like, there's nothing over the top of a house. It's actually kind of in a clearing, so taking it down, I don't think will be a terrible task.
I just say, just so you are aware though, that since it is if it is deemed a safety issue and the street department goes to take it down, you would be responsible for signing a hold harmless agreement just in case, say a limb did fall and hit your vehicle or damage your yard or your bird bath or whatever.
Yes, sir,
So,
that's not a problem.
okay.
All right, any questions from the board?
I don't think so. I like how this whole group problem solved. This has been great.
Any questions from anyone in the audience? Any concerns?
So is this just gonna be a deal, Dave goes, looks at it, see if he take it down, and then get with Alan and say this is when it's coming down and
Yeah.
kind of work directly with him?
Yeah, and we can do a motion to approve Dave to do it upon his determination that he can do it.
Okay,
If that
sounds
works.
good. Sure. Does that
Okay.
work?
That's,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, basically give Dave permission to do it, he can, if he feels like he can.
That's fair.
So,
Good, thank you.
all right. Any further questions, comments? All right, I have a motion to approve Dave, approve the street department supervisor to take down the tree if it is deemed necessary and, yeah, let's leave it. Feasible is the word I was looking for. Necessary and feasible. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right, so moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we have Chief Hoff. You have a rank change recommendation for Garrett Shields.
Just ask for the board to approve the rank change for Garrett Shields from private to mechanic. He'll be replacing 9 wires in our station 2. Garrett's been with us for 3+ years. And it's a good ability to do the work, so.
All right. Is there any questions from the board for Chief?
I trust you're sending the right guy to the right job, so.
There's no budget change.
Right.
It's already there, so just a position.
Okay. Any question or comment from the public? All right, thank you, Chief. All right, do I have a motion to accept Chief Hawk's recommendation for promotion for Garrett Shields?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We also have a late addition from Vincent Edmonds. Can I have a motion to add Mr. Edmonds' request for a road closure to the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So Mr. Edmonds, it says you have a request for April 21st for the Easter Parade. Talk to us about it.
How are you doing, sir?
Good to see you.
Nice flyers.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Vincent Edmonds, and I'm with ACES Plus Health Strategist. And we have been working with the YMCA in the development of the More for Miami Coalition. And the coalition is a substance abuse prevention coalition. We've been working in all 3 school corporations for the past 3 years, focusing really on prevention efforts. And for the past 2 years, we've hosted this parade on Easter. And we are hoping that you will allow us to have a 3rd year. We would like to close Court Street and 5th Street for just a day of celebration. It's a free of charge event for the community. We're asking family members to come out and just enjoy the day. Easter Bonnets has been a feature in past years. We're hoping a contest this year will gather more support. And we would just like to continue this event.
All right.
Happy to answer your questions.
Sure. Is this 5th Street, all of 5th on that block, or is this 5th to Courthouse Street, or to Court Street, I mean?
we've used the entire street in the past years.
Okay.
It helps us to determine where food vendors and the porta potty goes and some of our games.
Sure. Okay.
Now, Court Street, you do know goes through the court, or city, the courthouse, right? The county?
Yes. And
Okay.
so we presented to the county commissioners at the end of January and had an unanimous vote of approval.
So you're just looking for Fifth Street?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you very much for coming and talking to us about it. Is there any questions from the public?
What's the times?
3 to 5 p.m. on Sunday, April 21st.
And that'll be from Broadway to Wabash. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No, like you said, this would be the third year
Mhm.
in a row, so you probably know what you're doing.
The only thing I've ever seen that came into play on this was the dispatch, being able to get in and out of there when you block off Court Street. So that's something I don't know who contacts them.
Dispatch moved.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yep.
Not a
they're in
problem
jail
then.
now. So, should be all good.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing else from the public, anybody? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the road closure request for More for Miami?
So moved.
For Fifth Street?
Yes, for Fifth Street.
For more from Miami.
Okay, yeah, second.
All right, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Is there anything else to come before the board?
Yes.
Carrie.
Oh, there is?
Also-
There's an extra,
Well, we're out of
extra late
time.
edition.
We're out of time. Can you?
I didn't.
Carrie, next time.
Just
I'm
from,
guessing that's okay.
Oh.
uh-oh.
But we also
You
have
another
this first.
What? Oh, so we have two more.
Yes, two more.
Oh, we have two more. Okay.
one? Can we go first?
Come on up.
Oh, I don't have to get up, do I?
No.
He's in my way anyway.
Okay.
Oh. Just the Miami County Relay for Life, decorating the poles downtown again. May 4th is when we would like to do it, have it for the 2 weeks until the actual relay on May 18th. We will take them down on May 19th. This will be like our, 5th or 6th year of doing, decorating the poles, so.
May 4th to May 19th? And that is for Star Wars Day? Oh, really?
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you.
I had to go back the whole time we decided on that.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you get a lot of that. So. And what was the other date that we had for ribbons?
April.
April. Okay, gotcha. All right. We've been doing this for a number of years too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't think we've had any issues. No. Any questions for Carrie on the board? Any question or comment from the public? All right. Do I have a motion to accept Relay for Life's request to tie ribbons on the light poles?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I made the motion.
Mayor, should that have been added to the agenda first?
It should have.
Yes.
I
All
already
right.
added one thing to the agenda.
I know. Can we just add all of these to the agenda? All right. We'll start from the top then. Can I have a motion to add Relay for Life's request to the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Carrie,
right.
can you redo that?
Now.
Now you have to come out.
Right. Now you need to stand up and make it worth it this time. So,
Why does
all
this
right.
have to be so technical?
I can't ask the attorney. I wouldn't have said anything about it.
Yeah.
No. So do I have a motion again to accept Relay for Life's request for tying ribbons?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm out of
Aye.
line, now I have to change it.
Okay,
I
now,
was gonna do that on purpose too.
we have another late edition, correct? And
Yes,
then
the speed reduction on Mexico Road.
speed reduction on Mexico Road. Okay.
Motion
Now,
to
is this
add.
a discussion, or do we have an actual?
Well, that was up to you.
Right. Do we have, real quick, I guess either Dave or Todd, or Dustin, I know you said that you were going to look at what we're in the parameters of being able
Right,
to
we-
do.
We had talked about just caution, travel at your own, not necessarily travel at your own risk, but
There's a caution hazardous road out there right now.
Yeah.
Right.
There already is?
That's what I put up.
Yeah, that's what we put up
Okay.
today, or you put up yesterday or this morning? Today. Yeah. And then we were discussing this morning whether or not to put a temporary reduction of speed on that road. So we could add to the agenda discussion about,
Just the road?
yeah, just,
That location?
yeah, possibility of reduction of speed.
Do we have an idea when that might be repaved? A month and a half, or?
Maybe, but the minute I say it's gonna jinx it.
Right. The weather's gonna.
I spoke to Gaunt and Son this morning, and they have it at the front of their list of projects. They have to wait for the asphalt companies to actually start mixing the asphalt, and Gaunt and Son and E&B paving both. So, but regardless, the contractors also subcontract for the milling, so they have to get the milling in on their subcontractors' schedule. So they're putting us to the front of the line, but it's going to be completely dependent on the weather. So as soon as weather permits, as soon as roads are being done, that'll be the first one to be done. But we'll go ahead and make a motion to add the discussion on Mexico Road to the agenda.
Yes.
Second.
So it did, can that count?
Account.
No one's
You're gonna
even
say so
paying
moved.
attention. So moved.
And second. All right. All in favor?
What time is it?
Okay,
Yeah.
word.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. So we will add this discussion officially to the agenda. And now, like I said, we discussed this morning, either closing the road, reducing the speed, or putting up some other caution. And I'm not sure which of those we need to, which one we feel is the most appropriate at this point. Todd or Dave, do you have an opinion on either of those? I know if it's a speed reduction, have police input on speed reduction.
It's kind of got its own speed bump there. if you
Right.
Get my drift.
Yeah, it's kind of like not having speed limits
If
on
you drive up to things
gravel
45
roads.
mile an hour, so.
Right. But there have been enough reports of people driving like maniacs on the road and driving in the middle of it because avoiding potholes. So the road won't be able to be paved until, I know, it's going to be at least a month.
Yeah, if you're, that's considered city limits.
Mm-hmm.
I feel we could take it down to 25 if we wanted, because it's a city street at this point.
I think lowering it that much, you're not gonna do damage to your vehicle. It's the people that are running the speed limit through there, it's the ones that are, I drove on it, it's definitely bad.
Right.
But it's not like at 25 you're out of control and you're gonna be all over the road, so.
Yeah, for the majority of the road, it's shallow because it's the surfacing that's come off. So we don't have a lot of really deep potholes. I'm not saying there's no deep potholes there, but they're minimal compared to just the overall deterioration of that top 1.5 to 2 inches. So, and Dave, I know you guys have been out there regularly trying to patch it up and fix it as you guys can. And I don't know what all you guys can do beyond what you're doing right now for the road until it's milled and paved.
Yeah, we were there today, all day, and we'll be back out tomorrow, trying to fill the bigger stuff and keep it as smooth as we can,
Mm-hmm.
until they do get it paved.
Yeah.
Lowering the speed limit might not be a bad idea if you can, slow them down a little bit. I don't know about closing it completely, it'd be nice, but, the people that live there at Denham or Ridgeview, whatever it is, it'd be kind of a burden on all those people.
Right. And I know Denham, it's so close to the end of that, they should be able to give them some kind of access out to south of that on Mexico Road. Lee Woods would be the biggest issue there because that would be they're right smack in the middle of
And the
that.
one right before that, closest to 24, you get the first one that goes up the hill, then you have Lee Woods, and then Hidden Hills on that west side, and then on the right side, you got Denham's and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering how it would affect the sheriff's department as well, coming into town that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's true. But, I mean, I don't know how much the
obviously
sheriff's
their route.
department comes into town from that direction, or if that would really, probably a lot because of the courthouse, yeah.
yeah, I would say closing it's not the best course of action. Maybe a temporarily reduced speed or something.
Well, we can start with that and
Travel
see
on
what
your
it
own.
does. I mean,
Absolutely.
they're obviously patching what they can patch,
Right.
putting the hazard signs out there, reducing the speed,
Right.
and give it another 2 weeks and see if there's something else that needs to be done with it.
And if nothing
Operate
else,
at your own
if,
speed.
yeah, if nothing else, if you're gonna be out there, street department's gonna be out there on a regular basis trying to, patch it as we can, people are gonna have to reduce their speed for the workers out there. They're gonna be out there on a regular basis anyway.
Yeah, we had flaggers slowing people down one lane,
Right.
road and all that today, so.
Okay.
So Todd, at night, do we have like flashing things to let people know that the roads are, I mean, is there something we can put out there to where at night you can detect that as well?
We can attach flashers to those.
I mean, during the day it's a little easier, but at night somebody doesn't see that and
Right, and there's no street
swerve
lights
would
out
cause
there.
an accident.
I
Yeah.
actually, I was gonna do that, and you just reminded me of that. I was gonna put flashers on those new signs I put up.
Gotcha.
I actually forgot to do that today.
So, do you guys have a suggestion for the reduction of speed? I think, Todd, you said 25.
That, that's kind of a state guideline for city streets, but, I mean.
I think as far as temporary speeds, because of hazardous conditions, I think we can do, and I don't know, Dustin, if you've looked into that at all, but, I mean, even 15 or 20.
How long of a stretch is it?
That's almost a half mile. Isn't it, Dave?
I believe it's a little over that.
Yeah.
A little over half a mile.
I mean, I know it's an inconvenience, but if it's a safety thing, if we have to slow them down, whatever, we can slow them down just to get them through that. It's not like it's taking, miles and miles. We deal with it every day on the highways. So I think a half a mile, they can deal with it.
Yeah. So we're thinking, I think 25 is at the high end of what I would have it
I would
reduced
think
to.
so, too.
And 15 would be at the bottom of that.
So is there any reason we can't
I-
do 20?
So you gotta
20.
look at the effect of going too slow and the hazards that could create as well. I mean, you get people used to traveling 45 on the.
Is that what it is out there?
Yeah, 45 right there, as soon as you.
Okay, I guess 25, that's
But,
pretty significant.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this, is that people are used to going faster and they need to slow down.
Right.
So, I mean, it's much of a hazard to keep on going fast on that road.
You make it 25, they're gonna go 30.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And 25, people will be like, but 20, why is it 20?
Right. Any comment or suggestion from police or street, anybody on what they'd rather see it at? I think we're kind of settling on 20 if I.
20 is
read
where I
from
feel.
this.
Yeah.
It's a
Is-
temporary situation, it's not like it's gonna be that way forever.
Right.
Street's gonna be closed when they repave it anyways,
Mhm.
so it may as well just get it as slow as it can for now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't 20 make the patch last longer if people were coming at it slower?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Dave? You got cars running at 45 over your patches as opposed to 15 or 20?
Especially all the big trucks, they hit it going so fast, they just rip it right
Oh,
out.
man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I mean,
it could-
good point, Paul. I mean, that'll at least keep it smoother longer.
Right.
Get us to the
Prolong.
point where we can do something.
Yep. Okay.
Not putting in no big truck, no semi, they can come down, by the,
200 north.
yeah,
Yeah, 200 north or,
I mean,
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I went out there and watched them try to get on 31 off 200. Wow.
is it?
Yeah, when they try to go south, they
well, yeah,
decide-
going across there.
Yeah, I watched all 4 lanes stop one day.
Yeah. Well, I think we're looking at a temporary reduction of speed on that section of road, on Mexico Road, to 20 miles an hour. Is there any other question or comment that from public?
Almost just got plenty of signage just to let everybody know. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna put flashers.
Yeah, we'll bag the speed limit signs that are up. We'll put under that hazardous road sign, we'll have reduced speed to 20 mile per hour, and then we'll take those speed trailers out there
Okay.
and set them.
Perfect.
That way they'll have the big flash on those. So,
Yep. That sounds good.
yes, we'll do that first thing in the morning.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions from the public, anything from the board? Do I have a motion to temporarily reduce the speed on Mexico Road to 20 miles an hour?
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to add to the agenda?
An adjournment.
That's on the agenda.
Long one.
Anything else from the public? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.